What's going on, guys? It is Laser here with another weekend video analysis. I apologize for not getting this out yesterday. I know you guys are used to me dropping that on Saturday morning. It's Sunday morning now. I just got super busy. Wife was out running errands. I was spending time with the son. I was also running some errands as well. And he's been bugging me to get him Mario Party 10. We have a Nintendo Switch at home, and they don't make Mario Party 10 for the Nintendo Switch. So I had to go on like Facebook Marketplace and get a used Nintendo Wii U, which is like the older console. And yeah, so I was out there grabbing him the game. Of course, brought that out, and he wanted to play first thing when I got that. So I got busy yesterday. I did try and make the video, but my son was just banging on my door, too excited, and my wife was out, so I couldn't keep making this video. I tried to do it, so I apologize. But let's get this video out. I want to share this quick screenshot here. If you haven't seen it, it was on Twitter. I posted it a day after I posted my last week's video where I talked about like exciting cycles. This paints a better picture where 45% of the downtrends took about 3 months. 45% of downtrends took about 4 months, which you could say about 90% of the downtrends took between 3 and 4 months, which I've painted out the picture where 3 months, we reached 3 months on December 30th. We reached around 4 months around January 21st, approximately. And then there was only one time that it ended up lasting like 5.5 months. And if that ever becomes the case, it's March 3rd. I'm leaning closer between these two, and I'm going to actually share why. So definitely follow me on Twitter here. We do do make some pretty cool tweets. This week was a lighter week because of like the holidays and Christmas. So I hope you guys all had a wonderful holidays. Holidays are behind us now, guys, and we're entering the new year. And I think the new year is going to be a good year for NIO. And I'm here to talk to you about some things that I'm looking at actually on the NIO chart here. So let's take a peek here real quick, shall we? We're going to dive on the 24-hour chart. I want to start by actually sharing something brand new that I saw. This has to do with the cycles, and it's uncanny with how similar and how crazy it is. So really cool chart is called a bar pattern chart here, guys. So this is like, if we were to call this like the last cycle, this was about a 3-month downtrend. If I were to actually measure that as far as date goes, that's about like, you can see like there's your 3 months, okay, of a downtrend. I'm just using that one because it was a 7-week downtrend. And December 30th is our 7 weeks. Prepare to have your mind blown. Now, if I were to line it up perfectly from top to top, this chart doesn't work. It doesn't really work nicely. But if I were to slide it over a bit, and this chart is spooky, okay? So if I line, I'm using this as a point of reference. There's the top, bottoms out, tops, bottoms out, comes up. We're coming down for that last stretch. Now, mind you, this was an 8% day, whereas now this was only a 4% day. Okay. Now, how else is this? Now, this is this one thing that I want to share with you. This is like the fractal. This is the fractal is essentially, if you don't know what a fractal is, it's essentially a pattern that has happened in the past, and you can kind of copy those bars. And sometimes you can find that stocks tend to, repeat fractals. It's a theory. It's some people are pretty big. You can find some people that like their whole strategy is creating fractals and trying to copy and mimic that and use that as a trading edge. That's not my edge, but it was something really cool. I wanted to share that with you because I've noticed these cycles. What I really want to bring your attention to is the fact that last week we talked about there's 2 trend lines here, and that's how did we know things were going to get going. If you take a look, this was 1. I labeled that 1. I labeled that 2. And then we had this labeled as 1. And I was trying to, last week I was like, we can't make this 2 because it's too steep. That would have been me making this a 2, right? Or that a 2. It would have been too steep. But now that we've got that pivot, which would have been like the essential retest, and now it's starting to break down, I believe we could say this is 2. And what we can do with this information, and this was 1. Now what we could do with this information is if we can confidently, with confidence, say like, okay, this is my second trend line. With confidence, I can set a notification, which is something I recommend you guys do. You can do it on the 24 hours, but if you want to be like anal about it, you can do right down to the 1 hour if you want. Where you can do, okay, I want to watch it on the hourly. I want the first hour. I mean, if you could go right down to the minute if you wanted to, but I feel like you're watching the chart too much if you're doing that. 24 hours is fine enough for me. 24 hours, you right click, go to notifications, add an alert, boom. So now, as soon as the price crosses above that, I would get an email, I would get a text message, I would get a notification. If your phone is connected, my phone is connected to this, so I would actually get a text message. I would get all these alerts saying it's crossing, the price is crossing, and the price crossing to me would actually represent like we're in this stage. So where we are right now, I think we're right around here. We're in this stage of the game. And that's where I see things. Now, if I were to actually, I believe there's going to be some strong support right around 420. You can see twice we bounced there, and not just twice. That 428, 430 is actually quite significant. Watch what happens when I stretch this out. You could see this zone right over here acted as a very big level. So I do see bids coming up here if it does get down here, and I see like a wick here on the velocity. So we're going to analyze the velocity real quick. It looks great. Higher low, higher high. Ooh, wrong color. Where is my tool? It's right here. I think I like that color. Yeah, that's better. So higher high, higher low, higher low. Now, based off this red flag, or no, sorry, this red candle that we got, it looks like it's forming a lower high. You want it to form that higher low for that continuation and that reversal. It looks good. And one of the most promising things is we're starting to get like this bullish formation now on that velocity while it maintains a higher low on that 200-day moving average. I don't know if I'm doing a good job illustrating it, but if you look at this yellow line here, it's kind of averaging out. And notice where it bottomed here. It bottomed here much lower. Where it bottomed here, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher. We're in an uptrend here, guys. And this is where when it breaks, you're going to see that explosion. Now, that actual explosion, by the way, I want to point out too, where you had that real where things just went like into high gear, a 15% day, happened right when it crossed the 200-day moving average. And we're getting closer and closer to that. Closer and closer. Although it's worth noting, every single downtrend has taken at least 3 months, and only the 3 months comes around December 30th. So we're a couple days away. Now, I do believe there's going to be some confluence on around January 15th, January 16th. And I'm going to explain this to you. Notice how I said, like, I think this is a pretty good support, like 420, let's call this 428, 429. Remember how I said there's like these two trend lines here that I'm watching? So if they draw this out and it holds, we get a hold here. Did I do that neatly? I don't think I did that very neat. One way or another, assuming we get that hold here, if we were to assume, why is this not lining up nicely? 4 hours. There we go. One way or another, on the 16th and 15th, we got ourselves a run. Okay? We got ourselves that break of that second trend line, assuming we get that hold of 428, which I do see happening. I see some promising things on the 24-hour. 12 hours looks okay. Nothing structurally has broken on the 12-hour time frame. Now, if you take a peek here, on that 12-hour, it's actually holding higher lows. You can tell, obviously, with this recent breakdown, it's going to make a lower high here, which doesn't start a downtrend, and it hasn't broken this, so it might come down and give you that higher low, which what it's probably looking to do. You can actually get a bullish divergence if it just wicks below. Like, to me, that would be like the perfect setup. And a nice little boop and then it just goes. 12 hours looks good. 4 hours. Now, if you want to look at the 4 hours, you can see it's been just dancing around and dancing around. And it just, again, this recent move to 480 allowed the price to break above the 200-day moving average, and it's still holding like essentially an uptrend here. So there's a lot of hope and potential, although you can see here it's already kind of, it's busted this trend line, which is kind of like, So I want to point out to you that if 428 doesn't hold, because I've had some people ask me, like, well, where do you see it going if it doesn't bounce? And we'll use this as an example. Again, just because I saw it being so similar. Okay. I'm trying to like line this up to the best of my abilities. Look at that. It breaks under, comes in for that retest, and it struggles. It's struggling just like it did here. Let me draw this line out so you guys can see it. Literally a repeat. And boom, it goes. Now, I want to actually point out to you why I think January 12th is very similar. So real quick here, NIO is a derivative of the Hang Seng Index. Let's look at that clear. Notice it went down 5%, but Baidu and Baba went down 2%. NIO is a much more riskier asset. So when things go, I think NIO will go twice as hard as everything else. And you can just see how much did Baba run from August. It ran about 60% from August 2nd, whereas NIO around August 2nd ran 112%, almost double. And from when it fell down, it dropped around 45%. Baba dropped about 30%. It's about 50% less. But if you notice the chart, Baba's now coincidentally forming a higher low. It has nothing to do with deliveries, you guys, or fundamentals. This is straight up the Hang Seng. Baidu Baidu's probably the best looking chart, actually. It's actually broken above that 200-day moving average. Like, it had so much strength here. And it's forming that higher low. Hang Seng Index. This is the beautiful part. This is where I'm getting January 16th. So if you remember my last video, I talked about like the 1 and the 2. We got the 1. And I think in my last video, I was saying like this steep line could be a 2. And if that was a 2, I took basically this fractal here. I took this. And you can kind of see it. I'm just trying to zoom in so you guys can see. It's so messy. If this plays out, the really big rip, when does that happen? On the 16th. Now, mind you, this is I don't put a lot of stock and weight into this. But you could get something like that play out. So this is now giving me even more confluence on that January 16th date, which, if you forget, we got that by drawing a little line here. Right on that price point. And then we drew out a line here because this is the second trend line where things are going to go. And it's not looking right. So go to the 4 hours. Look at that. So beautiful. I love looking for like confluences. Sometimes it really just adds so much more to your analysis. Now, all this could be wrong. Maybe we run Monday morning. Maybe we run like real soon. I know there's like some big delivery numbers that are expected kind of first week of Jan. I know a lot of people put a lot of stock into that. To me personally, I'm not going to actually argue against that. I do believe they are very important. But I think what's most important is that we get this. This is going to be the most important thing right now. We're waiting for this to happen. Because when that happens, everything goes. Everything goes. Makes sense? Actually, I shouldn't have erased that. I want to keep that. I just wanted to just clear it up. Getting kind of messy. Let's just delete this. So there you have it. That's my new analysis for this week. Price targets still remain the same to the upside. If we go and do our Fibonacci, because it's broken, it's taking time. 840, 989. And again, I'm going to remind you guys, this was a 1 year downtrend. 1 year. This thing took more than a year actually for it to break out. You take a look. This took 392 days. And we are not even quite there. Like, as far as like, usually the general theory is if it's was in a downtrend for a year, expect the uptrend and the reversal to take a year. That's the general theory behind like how things could work, and it's only fair that way. If it took that long to come down, it might take that long to come back up, although maybe it may not, because if the Hang Seng runs, it's go time, it's game time. So I'm gonna wrap things up and say that it does look like it's breaking down, and I'm expecting that bounce around 428, triple bottom, perhaps a wick below. And if it does come below, I would expect something like this, which is so funny because when I draw out that fractal again of this bar pattern, boop, it's literally like on repeat. On repeat. So if we were to assume that, and you can kind of see the date and range for this, on the 16th, 22nd, it's gonna go one way or another. You're just waiting time, and this is why only those that are patient. Patience is so critical. You got to be patient. These big moves take time. And I can't tell you enough. Like, this stuff is painful for those that are watching this day to day. Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? Oh my God, is the bottom in? Is the bottom? Man, that's painful. And I totally relate to that and understand that. But it's, unless you exercise patience, you're going to put so much stress on your body. And I talked about this in an old video, but I just want to just wrap this video up by talking about managing your stress. If you don't manage your stress and you let the stock stress you out based off the day-to-day price action on what it's doing, you're killing yourself. Stress is the #1 silent killer in North America, and I'm sure across the world. You're aging yourself. You're graying your hair out. You're manifesting bad health. But when you're patient and you just like have conviction and believe this thing's going to go, and don't let this choppiness bug you, your health will thank you. You'll do so much better. And I just got to let you know and remind you, this is going to be key for the play like this. This is a big, big, big move coming, and only those that are patient are going to be the ones that are going to reap the rewards. So, having said that, thank you so much for watching my video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my analysis. I apologize for not getting this video out on Saturday. Again, I was quite busy, but I hope this will do. And if you guys have any questions at all, don't forget to leave those questions in the comment section below. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to my YouTube video if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your week. And my next video is not going to be until the New Year's, so have a happy New Year's, guys, everybody. Cheers.